The American Special Forces mission to kill al-Qaeda's leader was hailed as a success by Washington, but there's now widespread criticism over why he wasn't taken alive. And as RT's Gayane Chichikan has been finding out, it's not the first time that US methods in its war on terror have come under scrutiny.
Putting a pretty face on years of torture and abuse of law, US officials talk about the efficiency of enhanced interrogation techniques, as they call them, in locating bin Laden.
We obtained that information through waterboarding. And so for those who say that waterboarding doesn't work, to say that it should be stopped and never used again, we got vital information which directly led us to bin Laden.
Are you denying that waterboarding was in part among the tactics used to extract the intelligence that led to this successful mission?
No, I think some of the detainees clearly were they used these enhanced interrogation techniques against some of these detainees.
No tangible proof has been presented as to how torture helped obtain valuable intelligence on bin Laden. Although a detainee named Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was reported to have provided information on a courier that led to bin Laden's capture, intelligence sources say he repeatedly misled interrogators about the courier's identity and stalled the quest for years. He was waterboarded 183 times.
What we're seeing is that waterboarding and enhanced interrogation techniques, just like professional interrogators have been saying for years, always result in either limited information, false information, or no information. The laying of the groundwork, if you will, of these techniques basically, I believe wholeheartedly slowed us down on the road towards Osama bin Laden and numerous other members of al-Qaeda, not just bin Laden. And I'm convinced we would have found him a lot earlier had we not resorted to torture and abuse.
Attempts to justify torture seem outrageous to those who have been unjustly subjected to inhumane treatment at U.S. prisons overseas. Murat Kurnaz was captured in Pakistan in 2001. He was working for an NGO that helped the youth there to quit drugs and adopt a healthier lifestyle. He was sent to Guantanamo and tortured for 5 years.
They want me to make sign papers where I would agree that I'm a member of al-Qaeda, and of course I refused to sign it. And that's why I got tortured. Every time I refused, I said no. Then they kept doing it. They tortured me until I passed out. They hold me and they stick my head into the water. And at the same time, one of them hit me into my stomach. They tried me to make sign those papers by something like electroshocks.
Never charged with any crimes, Murat's now back home in Germany. The vast majority of the hundreds of individuals who have been held at Guantanamo since 2002, like Murat, are said to be of no intelligence value whatsoever. Some of them were children when they were captured, like Canadian citizen Omar Khadr, who was just 15 when he was taken into U.S. custody. He said because he was tortured, he was ready to say anything the torturers wanted to hear to stop the pain. The international community has widely condemned the unlawful practices at the U.S. prison. Amnesty International called it the Gulag of our times. Matthew Alexander has carried out more than 300 interrogations in Iraq and helped track down a number of terrorists. He says torture that was used by the U.S. authorities in Guantanamo and other prisons overseas, like the infamous Abu Ghraib in Iraq, contributed to more terror.
When I was in Iraq, I oversaw the interrogations of foreign fighters. And those foreign fighters, the majority of them said time and time again, the reason they had come to Iraq to fight was because of the torture and abuse of detainees at both Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo Bay. And this is not my opinion. The Department of Defense tracked these statistics, and they were briefed every interrogator who arrived there that torture and abuse was al-Qaeda's #1 recruiting tool. And so this policy of torture and abuse did not make America safer. What it did was it caused the deaths of hundreds or thousands of American soldiers.
Recently, in the wake of all the cheering about bin Laden's death, when asked about torture, the CIA director said,
"Whether we would have gotten the same information through other approaches, I think is always going to be an open question."
Just a few years ago, when Barack Obama was running for president on promises to shut down Guantanamo and stop the torture, it was presented as a done deal. But now with bin Laden's death, it could seem the ends justify the means. The means which, as many experts say, not only have not made Americans safer, but have motivated more terrorists. I'm Ganesh Chakyan reporting from Washington, RT.